There we go. Welcome, everybody, to Home Sweet Kersh episode 10. I have a bunch of players. If they would go ahead and give me their names and who they are playing, starting at the bottom today.
Greetings, I am Sir. I'm playing Grunthos, the Kobold Ranger.
Satet?
Sorry, had to run back real quick.
Ah.
I am Satet, playing Satet, a cleric of Raya.
I'm Interdit. I'm playing a human rogue named Holgord Wolfs.
I am Hollock Hall, playing a human fighter called Hollock Hall.
All right, who would like to review what happened last episode?
Well, we decided after talking with Borgild that we would have to find a way to make things right with Aurora, the Queen of the Fae, that we had been sent on a mission by. And so we went back into the Fae world via the fairy ring and went back to Aurora. And there was not quite the same environment. There was an empty hut that we had to investigate. And I nearly killed Grunthos by stabbing my spear into the hut, which caused a fire ring. But then knocking on a door that was in the hut opened it up into the throne room of Aurora, of which, after going in, we made an agreement with her by holding to her word and not the heart of the deal, or the... Instead of giving her the spear with the head that we had left back in Orkland, we traded her the mask of the Medusa, the Gorgon, and said that that was the source of her problems, was the traders in her midst, and here's the magic item that was helping cause the problem. To which then she was forced to uphold the deal, and so we were granted passage for 1 year for one person. The Borg Guild should be able to go across the Feywild as she needs. On the way out, Holokal was given a trial deal, essentially, where he had a choice. He could give one truth or give 1 year of service, to which I was freaking out that he would reveal that we had got the spearhead. But instead, he chose 1 year service after some negotiations with her, got a new apple, which I'm sure made him quite happy, and was sent away, and also has some new powers, which we will discover as time goes forward. Going back to Orkland, we explained to Borgild the deal. She did not like the deal, as she thought we would negotiate for her for the entire group to go back and forth, essentially. But that was not how we understood, and so that is not what we negotiated. And so she gave us till the beginning of the next month to decide if we want to go with her or not. In the meantime, the money changer, who the Golden Fang or something like that, who we had traded, Grunthos had traded the iron bar to, and we had a writ for to go get more money later, had been attacked, and I believe it was the daughter who has been killed by some sort of beast, and the iron bar is missing, and that's pretty much where we left it.
All right. So we will continue on with the same evening. Horgold, you drop Hollock off at his place and begin walking up the streets to your house. As you are walking, after a little while, a couple minutes, you're fairly far from Hollock's house. A couple minutes walk, whatever. Down the street behind you, you hear a pop sound. Just every once in a while, you hear it's just a light pop, and then the sound of like sand cascading down or running down a surface. And as you walk, the sound is behind you, and it appears to be getting closer and closer to you.
Do I recognize it?
You have never heard this sound before in your life. Although when you turn around to look, you see that, probably 8 or 10 blocks away, all the streetlights on both sides of the road are out. And as you're watching, you hear another pop sound, and the lights go out, and then you hear another sound.
I go and hide, I guess.
All right, give me a stealth roll, please. You duck into an alleyway, and kind of gonna hide down and watch. The sound approaches, continuing on down the street. As it gets closer, it gets louder and louder. As you look out the alleyway, you see directly across from you there is a streetlight, and you hear pop. There is the lights immediately go out, and then you see, you're not exactly sure what, flowing out of the lights and flowing into a dark form in the center of the street, which is the sound, the cascading sand type sound. And as you are there, the dark figure moves along past you and continues up the street. And as it does so, the sound gets quieter and quieter as it gets further away. It is now pitch black in front of you. The street lights on the street behind you are still on. So if you kind of work your way to where you can see out of the alley towards the other side, those street lights are still on. It's just the street that you were walking down.
Well, I'm not good in the dark, so I'm curious about what it is. So but I cannot follow it in the dark.
You are human, right? No dark vision?
Yeah.
Okay,
Nope.
yep. So you can barely see by starlight. It's a cloudy-ish night, but not completely. It's not pitch black, but it's dark. So you can barely see 5 feet in front of you. As you look out as you kind of go around the alleyway, you see that, just one of those things, living in a city, you are used to people having like lights in their windows this time of night. It's not super late, so people still have some lights on. All of those lights are out as well. And you hear some quiet, some quiet cursing from the buildings around you as those people have lost their light. Up ahead of you, you see this dark figure enter another set of street lights. The lights pop and go out, and then when the figure vanishes, everything goes quiet. Vanishes in the dark of the lack of streetlights.
Yeah, I'll take the light route to my home, if that's possible.
You work your way back down the other alley. You get out into the light. Give me a perception check, please.
Oh, great.
All right, so you head down the light route, and as you are approaching the elevator, you hear one more, a little louder this time, pop sound, and you look up, and the top part of the elevator has gone dark. And the guy standing at the entrance to the elevator is kind of just there's somebody there, but they're kind of just, they have a room. They don't usually expect a lot of people traveling this time of night, so they tend to sleep in their room. Usually a quick knock on the door will wake them up to activate, so the elevator can be activated. They are there. but it is dark.
Do I need to go up the elevator to get to my house?
Yeah, you live, from what I remember, you live somewhere like there-ish. So,
okay.
So you came from Hollock, which is there-ish.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll just wake them up.
Guy comes out yawning. Ken holds his hand out for the usual payment, which is like a bronze piece, and motions you onto the elevator. When you get on, he pulls the lever, and he looks at it. He pushes it back, pulls it again. He kicks it and pushes it, pulls it. I'm sorry, sir. It seems the elevator's out of order. Don't know. That's never happened before.
Yeah, no problem. I will wait until it's fixed. We'll go to a friend.
Very well. He tosses you your coin back. Have a good night, sir.
So, I was dropping off Hollock, right?
Yeah, you had dropped off Hollock.
I will go back to Hollock then.
So, Hollock, probably a half an hour after Horgold has dropped you off, you hear a knock at your door.
Yeah. In that travel, I got that ring from the messenger, right?
Yep.
Do I know how it works except pushing it?
There's a gem on the top. You push it, and it will send a message as per the spell.
Yeah, okay. But I need to make the message out loud, or can I?
Yeah, it has to be.
Whisper it
You
like
can
my whisper
you can whisper it. The other thing you can do, and they would have explained this, is you can write a message, put the ring around it, hit the button, and it'll consume the written message, and then the other person will hear it as a whisper.
Okay. Now I will just go to Hollock's house then.
All right.
For now.
Hollock, you hear a knock at your door.
I grab my spear and walk to the door, open it a little bit. It's sleepy.
Already at sleep? I'm just half an hour ago. I jumped right off.
It's late. We did lots of stuff.
I got a small favor to ask. The elevator is not working, so I need a place to crash.
The elevator is not working. I've never heard of that.
And I explained him the stuff that I've seen, like the dark wisp putting out all the lights, and probably also the elevator.
It's not a wisp, a form, person-sized.
When I
described it as a wisp.
Okay, when I hear that, I pull him inside and slam the door shut. Grab some blankets. Do I have a sofa kind of thing?
Yeah, you would have some sort of like sofa or lounge chair or something. The house is fairly nice.
Just to be sure, I take some precautions.
Yep. The house is secure. That's big enough that you can basically get the entire house inside of it. Or small enough. Yeah.
So we sleep in our armor.
The rest of the night passes, and it is morning. What all are you all doing?
Breakfast. Always breakfast first.
Breakfast at the Snorting Boar.
The Snorting Boar's breakfast is fried leftover. I think yesterday was lamb. So they take the lamb from the roast that was doing, and they fry it. They fry it in oil, and they have it with eggs, and probably oatmeal or some sort of gruel. Not gruel, oatmeal, basically.
Sounds delicious.
Satet, the breakfast at the temple is, again, the same simple fare. This morning they do have ham, though, to go along with it.
After breakfast, I would like to go talk to the gentleman who maintains the safe room to verify the spear.
He's doing his morning accounting, essentially. He goes, Good morning, Satet. How did you sleep?
I did not sleep well. I'm very concerned with the item of which I have stored here. Are we sure it's still safe?
Hang on a second. He disappears into the room behind him, and after a few moments, he comes out. It probably takes him, maybe just long enough to get you nervous, but not like so long that you just want to follow in after him. And he goes, yeah, it's still safe. It is right where I left it.
Have you had any interesting or unusual interactions with it? Say, a voice in your head or feeling compelled to do?
No, I haven't felt anything like that. It's some sort of powerful magic item, I can tell that much, but other than that, it hasn't acted strangely. I'll let you know if I feel anything or see anything.
And I'm not allowed to go back there and check?
No, you are not, your item is not the only thing that I'm keeping safe. Although if you want it back, I can give it to you.
No, I'm just checking. I'm just very concerned about it. All right, thank you very much. Have a good day. After that, I will head to the snorting boar.
Testing.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So, small Discord problems, but we seem to be back now. Yay sound. Yay! All right, so you head to the snorting boar. You find Grunthos just finishing off his lamb steak, his fried lamb steak. Grunthos, it has like rosemary and black pepper, and it's actually kind of tasty.
I almost wanted it myself when you describe it.
That's what I'm good at, making people hungry.
Hey, Sate!
Hey, how's it going this morning, Grunthos? Anything new?
Good breakfast.
Breakfast, one of the best meals of the day. So I want to talk to you about what do you think we should do? I'm a little nervous about going back into the Feyland. What do you
I'm pretty sure you know my feelings about its denizens, its inhabitants.
I don't think that sky giant likes you.
No, I don't like him either. I don't feel safe going there. There was bordered for safe passage, but for one, and no, I don't feel like going there is a good idea.
Agreed. So I guess if we see Hollick and Horgold, we will be on the same side, and hopefully we can convince.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pull up a chair and put my feet up and hang out, just kind of listen, watch.
All right. Good job, Grunthos.
Starts playing the flute while waiting for
Horgold and Hollock, on your way to the snorting boar, you see a broadsheet. Looks like it's been recently printed. Basically, people are running it around town. It's available for purchase for 1 copper. Headline says strange outing at the elevator. It's about all you can get without buying one. I'll buy one. It's copper.
Okay.
It's copper.
I like to be informed.
The text of the thing goes something along the lines of items guaranteed to last at least 20 years go out. The town wizards are confused and are working on repairing the damage done to the elevator last night. It is unknown what caused the elevator to stop working, but it should be back up and running by noon. And then in a side article, so that article takes up the top above the fold part. Below the fold on the side, there's lights out ? And it says 10 city blocks mysteriously all magical light goes out, and some people are complaining that their stoves no longer work this morning. There have been calls to the manufacturer of these magical devices to hold to their promises and replace those things that are no longer working. In the bottom left-hand corner, you see probably the other 2/3 of the page is an article about a new steamship slated to arrive in the next 2 weeks, or not steamship, new sail ship, slated to arrive in the next 2 weeks, using magic to propel it instead of wind, and going into the various things that this means for the future of Orkland. Developed by a local craftsperson, and gives a name, Anastasia. I need a last name. Alvarez. There we go. Anastasia Alvarez, the creator of this mystical engine propelling the ships across the ocean. When you guys arrive back to the Storting Boar.
Well,
Hey guys, I think we need to have a talk.
yes. Indeed, we need.
Grunthos and I have been talking. We don't trust that going back to the Fey World is the best route here. I think that at least us two, we're gonna have to leave Borghild on our own.
I don't trust Borghild as well, and I want to trace my money.
What do you mean trace your money?
What happened to that platinum bar, or the silver bar that we...
Iron.
Oh, iron, yeah.
Grunthos has it, right? I look at Grunthos.
You got a piece of paper from me last night, a day or so ago. What does that say?
I don't recall seeing a piece of paper. Who'd you give it to?
You.
Everybody.
Oh. Okay.
You have a piece of paper that says the holder of this slip of paper is guaranteed to receive 600 brass from the Gilded Fang or Shiny Fang or whatever.
Bright Fang.
Bright Fang.
The Bright Fang money changer.
Yeah. And all of us got a piece of paper that said that.
Well, if you want some money, go get some money.
Well, probably the death of the girl carrying it won't be happening getting us the money, so we need to investigate that a little bit.
Wait. What? You gotta rewind. What are you talking about?
There was a murder.
And what's that got to do with our iron?
We believe she was carrying it.
How'd you find out about this?
I was at the wrong spot at the wrong time, or the good time.
I'm gonna eye him suspiciously and be like, "Are you telling the truth? Did you have anything to do?"
I was with him when the thing went down. And it's a murder I told you about when we met up at the temple. I didn't connect it at that time because I didn't know, I knew who the girl was.
And I don't have to give away my sources of information.
2 questions. Did whoever see the girl describe her, and would I recognize that from seeing her in the Bright Fang?
Give Hollick, I believe you saw the body. Give me an intelligence check, please. You guys, the body inside the shop you saw, or inside the house, was wrapped in linens or probably wool cloth, and so Hollick gives you a description that does match the girl, age, height, except for she was a head shorter.
Literally.
Yeah, I just nod when he describes it. Nod that's the one that works. The Bright Fang. She might have been out to try and get more money to be able to honor the writ.
Yeah, and another thing, when I tried to get home last night, when I put down the paper on the table, and I described what happened.
Yeah. Gruntos just looks at the piece of paper.
It's written in Orcish, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, that is quite unsettling. What do you think it was?
I have no clue. It was scary as something I'd never seen or met before. It was just putting out all the lights.
Do we know if these lights are like oil-based or torches, or they match?
These are all magical lanterns based on the ever-burning torch spell. They are produced relatively cheaply and efficiently. Basically, they have... The reason they're so cheap is because the spell won't last forever, even though Ever-Burning Torch as a spell would last forever. They found a way to basically copy the spell onto hundreds of lamps. So you have a lamp that you can turn off and turn on. The longer it's on, the more quickly it will fade out, but it'll last for years, generally. So it's a little odd to hear of them going out all at once like this.
Do you think it was following you? Or do you think it's just coincidence that it was going the same direction?
I have no clue. It went up the elevator. That's all I know. That was the direction it was traveling to. But I could hide, so I don't think it was after me. But still.
Everybody give me a knowledge history roll. Give it me a really, really good one. All right. None of you remember anything, so none of you have learned of anything like this. So, continuing on.
And did you take the road home then, Horgal, or?
Sorry?
If the elevator isn't working, did you
There's
take
a
the road home?
ladder. No, not a
Which
ladder. A set of stairs. But
No, I crashed at Hollox.
Oh, okay.
I've heard Hollock's a real party animal. He keep you up all night?
No, but the ghosty figure that puts out all the lights did.
Could that thing also be connected to the iron bar because iron contains magic?
I don't know enough of magic.
I'm not that knowledge.
Me neither.
We could visit the temple and see what the temple thinks about it. Maybe we get some insights there.
Perhaps. It doesn't seem to have visited the temple, so I don't think it was after the spearhead. I think we're okay there. But it is a little concerning. Perhaps it's a trail of where the iron bar went. Pollock might have a good idea there.
All right, you guys heading for the temple?
Well, I just want to settle, guys. Are we good with not going with Borgil? Does anyone want to go tell her that? We just want to not show up?
We still got a month.
All right.
Half a month.
Like 10 days.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's okay. We don't have to do that right now. I can always send her a message spell.
Works for me. Okay, I guess. Let's head to the temple then, if you want, guys.
Mhm.
You guys head to the temple. Along the way, you hear various conversations popping up about the elevator being down. Mostly people are complaining about it's a big pain in the butt because you can't get to the government offices and blah. Why do this thing have to be magically powered anyway? Wouldn't the old water wheel one work better? And so on and so forth. None of you lived in town before the magical elevator system was in place, so you don't know. But nice, Alec. You guys walk down to the temple. It's late morning by the time you get there. There's a service happening. Probably 15 or 20 people doing the various acts of worship of Raya, and the head priest is giving his little invocation at the front of the room. But you guys can easily kind of go off to the side and go into the back part of the temple if you wish.
On the way to the temple with those people talking about it, do we know the point of origin where it started, the blackout?
You're pretty sure that the blackout, so the section of town, you kind of ask around a little bit, the section of town you walked through was blacked out, and then the elevator and up the main street, so up this street here were also lights out last night.
So it started in town.
Started somewhere, say right around here, followed along, say about that far, and then stopped, and then elevator and up this way.
You have to click the map to show
us
you
where. Can't see my mouse.
Here is.
Oh, right, because you're not seeing that. Never mind. Okay, so from about there to about there, and then the elevator all the way up to the top of this road.
Okay, so it started middle in town. Interesting to know.
There you go. Yeah, it's 3.7 feet long now. Thank you.
Side entrance of the temple.
Yep.
Alright, guys. Everyone loves me here, especially the younger priests, so I'll do the talk.
Give everybody except for Satek, give me insight rolls, please.
Yeah, I was about to say, do I actually believe him?
Good enough. Not good enough. Good enough. Okay, so Grunthos and Horgold, as you guys are walking with Satet through, and Satet is, all proper and proud, you notice that as you guys are past, a couple of the younger priests and priestesses are kind of doing that whole cover their mouth with their hand snicker and talking under their breath. Holocall, man, you don't notice any of this.
I just ignore it.
Yeah.
Is there a dedicated like historian or anything like that at the temple, or do I just need to find a head?
At this temple in this city, there probably is a dedicated historian, actually. Historian, legal, probably along the lines of historian plus lawyer or lawyer's aid type thing. Deals with the dealing with the city sort of fun.
All right. First, I guess I'll head over to him because there's going to be one more person I want to talk to, I think. But I'll head to the historian, assuming I know who.
Okay. Yeah, you know who that is. You've dealt with them before. They helped you get settled here, and basically, recommended you not get your own place, but to be safest if you stayed in the temple and all that sort of fun stuff. And it is a he, and his name is Fedor, or Fedor. He is a full orc, and he is like wearing a not exactly a suit, but a nice button-down shirt and woolen pants and leather shoes, and looks well groomed, facial hair and head hair. All in all, a well put together man.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Satet. It's good to see you again. How goes, good friend?
Good. My friend here, and I'm going to indicate Horkel, witnessed some of the disturbance last night. So I was curious if you knew anything, and maybe he could describe it to you, and you could help us figure out what was.
Was this the lights out issue last night? Were you involved? He looks over at you, Horgold.
I was not involved. I was just on the streets when it happened.
Oh, sure.
And I described what I seen and the sound.
Okay, let me see what he's got. Really? So you saw some sort of creature like collecting something from the lamps as it went past?
Yeah, and also from the houses. So everything just turned dark. And even the elevator didn't work anymore.
Well, I'll tell you what it sounds like, but it shouldn't be. But I'll tell you what it sounds like. So, many years ago, we are talking... Hold on, I gotta actually get my timeline up. Nope, not that. Maybe 150 years ago. 65. Oh, yeah, about maybe 100 over 100 years ago. We'll just go with that. Beyond the living memory of anybody in town. Maybe some elves would be old enough if you could find them. There was a scourge upon this land, known as the Iron Seekers. I'll go ahead and give everybody a D20 roll history again with the name drop. But he kind of goes, they're called the Iron Seekers. They sought out any source of iron they could find, and Horgold's good enough. Hollock, not as much. Any sort of iron they could find, and collected it. They would kill anybody that had like raw iron, and they would steal any magical items. It's possible that this creature thing is related to them, but they were killed off over 100 years ago. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but they stopped. They all fled somewhere and were destroyed. I'm not sure what exactly happened. Horgold, with your 21, you have vague inklings, remembering that Iron Seekers were not creatures, but you had heard in some story or other that they were somehow transformed men who had this ability, or had the ability to find all sources of iron and would collect them, not religiously, well, kind of religiously, as if it was their religion to remove all iron. You're
Any
thinking
connection to the Feywells in that stories?
the guy kind of looks, not that I'm aware of. Maybe a bard could tell you more. That they would be, I just we have some references to them causing issues, but nothing real definite. But like a bard historian might be able to tell you something, just as a like oral history type thing. As far as written, they were practically indestructible. They had unnatural abilities, like beyond what usually you consider for magical abilities. Generally, they were they looked like people, but they could punch a house down and just horrific things, and didn't need to sleep. The standard things you tell your kids to keep them from wandering in the street at night.
Well, it scared the hell out of me. So some of those stories might be true.
Yeah, just I don't remember anything about them being able to like rip the magic out of an object, but I mean that seems to be the closest to anything that I've ever heard of. They would just like steal magical items or take them bodily from the bodies of people they'd killed, and then hoard them away. So perhaps a new version of them, or I don't know.
Well, sounds like you're on your own. If you want to go get that iron bar back, go Hergold. Good luck. Thank you. If you have any more information, I guess you'll know where to find me. I'll stop by periodically and check.
Wait, iron bar. You have an iron bar, or had an iron bar?
Well, we had, but we sent it to a money changer, and apparently the money changer has lost it for us possibly to this creature, but we just don't.
Oh, so the Bright Tooth murder might be related to this, or Bright Fang murder.
Possibly, but that's what we're hoping to find out.
Well, let me know if you find anything. It's very disturbing. I don't know. You might take this information to the guards. Let them know what to look for, at the very least.
Do you think they'd believe us? Maybe you should be the one to tell them.
You're not wrong. Tell you what, I'll go this afternoon and let them know, and keep your eyes peeled. I hate to say this, but you're probably the most, he looks at all of you, you're the most powerful group of people around. Just by your sheer history. And he looks at you, see if you guys have anything else to say, and if not, he'll go back to work.
I'm going to squat down next to Ground Throats and see, big guy, everyone fears you. You're tough.
Oh, that I wanted to do the same.
He
grab a hold of the neckline of the clothes of Satat and just hold him at my height.
Fedor kind of looks down at you, and and then realizes that Grunthos is there because you were kind of hidden behind the behind the desk, and just chuckles to himself.
Scowling at Satet, shaking the collar a bit.
I'm gonna laugh. Try to stand back up. Well, gentlemen, where do you think we should head now? Perhaps if we can get up, we should see if we can find a trail up on top of the cliff to where it went.
Well, yeah, we got a beginning point maybe, and maybe we can find the end point as well. So yeah, maybe we just need to investigate the areas a little bit, see where they come from, and where they stopped.
All right, where you guys going
Sounds
first?
good.
Where you guys going first?
Sorry, Alec.
Oh, I just said sounds good to me.
What was it about
Yeah, somewhere around there.
there-ish?
There-ish.
Horgold, would you like to show us where you're at? Maybe we can go from.
Yeah, I can walk people down the street and just show them where I started, but we also had some information from the streets where it started as well, and maybe gather some extra information exactly where it started.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys head off down the street. You get to Hollock, a somewhat familiar place to you. It is on your way to the Snorting Boar from your house, essentially, and it is in fact where you saw the murder. There's some people up on ladders, and they look to be replacing the lights in the street.
Like, this looks like it is the origin of where it all started.
This looks like the origin of at least one end of the lights being out. And Intertooth can tell you that as well. Detect magic. Yeah, sure, absolutely. You detect magic off of the lamps that are being put up, and you detect a strange lack of magic for about as far as you can see into the houses on either side of you. So you can only see through a foot of stone, inch of common metal, or thin sheet of lead. So probably you really can't see past the walls except for at windows of the houses. But usually you would expect to see things like anti-pest wards on street level. You would expect to see just things to make trash not stink on over top of garbage piles. All of that sort of magic is completely missing at this section of street, basically centered on the center of the street and heading towards the north and west, north, south, east, north and east, kind of following the street up the way.
Guys, it looks like there's a complete void of magic around here, and it goes off that direction. I'm going to point in the direction that it goes.
Did the Horgold, did the creature have any legs? How big were they in that?
Humanoid, but it was more like a mist, I think. And
So nothing for me to try and find the tracks of?
You can try. I will just scout the area a little bit to see for extra clues. Maybe we just, meet up again in 2 minutes and see what we can find.
Give me your tracking or survival, Grunthos, whatever you have for that.
It's survival for tracking.
Okay. 14. City cobbled streets, probably nothing. Other than you can see the line of lamps that the lamps are obvious, like they look obviously damaged. So there's like a glass pane on each, like think Victorian oil lamps where they have, the glass panes on the outside.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the thing in the center. So the thing in the center, instead of would be shuttered or off this time of day with a little like a little crystal at the top, like a quartz crystal. It's something really simple. Hold on a second, I gotta sneeze. And that crystal is like obviously like exploded and burnt looking, and the glass at the bottom towards on the side that's towards the street, these things are held in like some sort of bronze case, and that case is warped at the bottom to leave just the narrowest gap. So the glass is kind of not a parallelogram. It has a wider top and then angled sides and a narrower bottom. Trapezoid, sure. And the glass at the bottom, so it doesn't like fall out because it's held in by the sides as still, but the bottom is kind of bent a little bit. It looks like something flowed past this.
Yeah.
I break off for the party just to scout to the area a little bit.
All right. You quickly find about halfway down the length of this area, you quickly find where you like hid last night. Give me investigate, please. You think you want somebody to come here who has the ability to see magic, the ability to detect magic. You're pretty certain that's important.
No, I don't.
Do you have it?
No.
Ah.
Yeah, I can use it. I will ask the Satet to come here and investigate this, and then I will split off again.
Are you close enough for me to see you wave me over or whatever?
Yeah, I will try to attract your attention, and then I will say, I will scout up ahead if she finds something else.
Okay, I will take a look, I guess. Anything suspicious using my detect magic?
So what you see here is a kind of about a 10-foot area that does not have the missing magic. It's kind of tear shaped and going towards the street. And Horgold, what rings? You have 2 rings, right? What rings do you have?
Ring of evasion and the ring of the message.
So you're getting a distinct sense of oh shoot, I just forgot the name of it. Abjuration magic, kind of in addition to everything here. And it's like there's this kind of shape of it. Yeah, that's what I'll give you. Kind of, yeah, truncated tier shape headed towards the main street.
Okay, I will take note of that, but not really say anything more.
Yeah, and I try to just get the corner to search for more clues.
Everybody
Maybe
give me one more investigation roll. Ooh. Grunthos. And yep, Grunthos. You detect, or you can sense, a definite line in the, I guess, air is as close as I'm going to get, just past the last set of lights that are out, and you think, or you're not 100% sure. How do I put this? You think whatever was going on here was stopped, like, as a conscious effort. It's not like it fades out suddenly. It's like there's a definite line where there was stuff missing, like you kind of feel that missing bit in the air, and then there's this kind of line in the pavement where it just returns, that the kind of normal feeling of the city returns.
Am I out of line of sight of the party?
Probably, yeah. If you want to be, you can be.
Yes, please. Sideboard?
Sure, we'll go to sideboard. Everybody else talk while we're there. What's up?
I want to use the ring to message.
All right. Go ahead and what message are you sending?
I'm sending that a powerful being, probably a dragon, is trying to use the Feywild to travel to the north. And that might be interesting, to Anya.
And you mean to Magda?
Magda, yeah.
You get a response back after a few moments, and it's a little staticky. It's definitely what's his bucket's voice. Shoot, I just forgot his name and I don't have it up. It's
Simon?
Yes, Simon's voice. But it's really kind of staticky in a way that you've never heard with the message bell. He's like, "Okay, it's good to know. Thank you for," and you hear your ring go pop, and no more sound.
And if I inspect the ring, is it still okay, or did it broke?
It looks broken.
I'll take it off.
All right, let's go ahead and head back to the game.
I'll rejoin the group.
I've been explaining to Satet the line I found, marking it on the ground with something.
Satet, with it being pointed out to you, you can definitely see it's like over the course of about 6 inches or less, the like normal background magic spells that you expect on a city of this age kind of fade back into existence. And if you're standing on one side of the line looking around with your magic sight, it looks completely normal. If you cross over the line, it looks completely magic. Like all magical spells are completely spent.
Well, Grunthos, someday you're gonna have to tell me how you figured this out.
I just sniff the air. Basically, what got me here.
You find anything interesting, Horgold?
Not much.
I start moving towards the switchback. Get up.
You head towards the elevator. And when you guys arrive, there is a line of people waiting. It's noon-ish. Looks like people are using the elevator to go up and down, but it is not the elevator you were familiar with. And the person at the bottom is like he has a ring he's talking into, and he's getting responses from somebody else. It's like, okay, so this group weighs 1,000 pounds, and there are 3 animals. Send up at least 1,500 for the animals plus the counterweight. And it kind of looks like they're like really carefully balancing the people at the top, where you kind of gather they're balancing the people at the top, people at the bottom. And as you watch, you hear a splashing sound kind of over the roar of the waterfall that's here. And you see an elevator cage at the top start slowly moving down, and at the exact same speed, an elevator cage at the bottom starts slowly going up. There. It's about maybe a third of the speed you're used to on the elevator system here.
Which is why I was going for the switchback road.
Yep, the switchback road is probably 100 yards to the right of here. There's people who don't have heavy things to carry up are probably taking the stairs, at least unless they're like wealthy people who don't walk very much. It is a set of stairs that goes vertical almost 200 feet. So it is 15 stairs and a landing where you turn back around and you go up, and it's just this set of stairs that goes all the way up the cliff face. It's almost a vertical climb. And it was not built for kobolds. But it's no line here.
Yep.
When you say not built like this,
doesn't have patience for lines.
Yeah. What was that, Sadet?
I'm just curious, like, as in Gronthos is going to have to climb up the stairs, or like they're too tall?
They're too tall for him to like comfortably take a step up. So it's kind of that. If you've ever been to a place that was definitely built before OSHA was around, where each step up is like 3 or 4 inches too high to be a comfortable step, where you almost kind of have to hop to get to each one, that sort of thing. For you guys, it's not comfortable. For him, he's literally hopping, because it's like each riser is probably 9-10 inches. So the length of the distance to almost to his waist.
Better than waiting in line.
All right. You guys climb the cliff face. It probably takes a solid hour, maybe hour and a half. It's just, it is fall. It is probably, it's humid here, and until you get towards the top of the cliff face. And it's one of those things where you get to the top and you are soaked in sweat and you are thirsty, and you see there's a couple of enterprising shopkeepers who have like ice cold drinks and get your lunch here signs out. As you look over the waterfall, you see the paddle wheel, which you have seen before but never running, for the elevator system, working away as it goes, as the two cages go up. And you've probably gotten here about the same time as if you had just stayed at the bottom and waited for the line. Maybe 10 minutes faster, but it's just, you get to the top and it's just, ugh. The magical generator, whatever was running the other elevator, looks completely destroyed. Like smoke, or not smoke, but like that burnt look of something that's been like, electricity is all I can think of, but that kind of book burnt and just, it just looks destroyed. And the the cage is down at the bottom, but they're currently like taking apart the old control like generator unit, and they're working with like some parts they put off to the side, look like maybe they're going to reuse them, then other parts are tossing over their shoulder, looks like they're complete trash, other parts are putting in a different pile, look like maybe scrap, valuable even if they're destroyed sort of parts. There's a couple of guys working there, and there's a guy at the top who's talking into another ring, and he is working he's like counting the number of people at the top and getting like, okay, so you weigh 150 pounds and you weigh, sort of thing. He might be doing it in kilograms. I don't know those.
Well, let's follow the blackout. Let's see where it leads.
So as you guys looks like most of these lamps have been taken down, and there are some people like working frantically to try to get them all back up in place. Several of the storefronts along here are like the door and the windows and some walls are like kind of look punched out into the street a little bit. And you recognize those as places that used to sell magical items. There's, trinkets, magical, what obviously were magical trinkets, in the street. They look completely wrecked, destroyed. It looks like the destruction up here was broader than the destruction down in the lower part of town.
As in, there's more magic overall up here.
There used to be, and it was more. It was taken from further into the buildings. Like occasionally, you see, instead of just one set of streetlights being out, if you look down an alley and there is a streetlight that would have been visible, like through the alley from the main street, it also is out.
Looks like it was more hungry when it got up here, guys.
I want to check my home.
You head to your home. It is not on the main road, and it is unharmed from it looks unharmed from the outside.
Good. Then I don't care.
Fair.
Well, Horgold, you're more familiar with up here. Should you lead on? Show us.
Yeah, can we find a end point of this destruction?
The destruction heads all the way to the edge of town, so the end point of the destruction here appears to be the last set of street lights. Yeah, basically there.
There's no wall or anything at that top edge of town.
No, this city doesn't have walls or anything like that. It's just open toward the plain. The road is a little bit more than a footpath outside of the city. Depending on time of year, there's more and less traffic. Grunthos, your village is in that general direction. From the main road up that way.
Mm-hmm. I want to see if I can see if there's any sort of tracks at the edge of town, or what could possibly be what we're looking for.
Give me survival, thank you. Ooh. You find a heavy. So in the dirt outside of town, you find a heavy set of footprints, maybe 7-8 inches long. Seem to be more deeply sunk into the earth than is reasonable for that foot size. They go out a little ways, and then you see them turn around and head back in, and you lose them again once they are on the cobbles.
Yeah. I just thought. We've been trying to find an endpoint to this. Where did it start?
All the evidence you guys have seen said that one, and by what Horgold has told you, it started in the lower part of town, went for a ways, and then traveled the upper part of town, basically through the main street.
Yeah, but it could it have just appeared in the middle of the city?
You were pretty sure that whatever is doing this has the ability to turn it off and turn it on. Because there's a definite stop and start to it. It's not like it fades in and fades out, or it like travels from an edge to through an area and then out another edge.
Yeah. Which is why I'm asking for. Maybe we should be trying to figure out how it got to where it was. Didn't I think of that sooner?
Maybe the guard's seen somebody?
Can always
Maybe.
ask. Yeah. Okay. So I was trying to decide what the reality of the thing would have been. So yep, that's what the reality of the thing would have been. Okay, continue. Gonna try to find a guard.
I look at that. You're popular here, right? So maybe you should ask the guards a little bit about what might be.
Oh, I'm popular in the temple. But sure, I could ask. Isn't Holok? Side note: Isn't Holok? He's like a half orc or something. Would he be more acceptable?
No, I'm pure human. I only talk Orcish.
Yes, Holok was a guard, though, for Kersh.
But not here.
No. Although you would know where guards would tend to hang out. You probably know the guard bar, because there's one in every city.
So you're wanting to know if guards on the main route saw anything as it left the city?
Yeah, or when it went in, or that time frame. Anybody that is just not from around here, like maybe this day or the day before, I meant.
All right. Seems like a long shot, but let's give it a go. Are there guards on the edge of town here, or are they just scattered along?
They're around. They have kind of regular patrols. They don't like control traffic or anything heading into town. Especially from up here, the vast majority of traffic is in from the docks. But there are definitely guards up here. This is the wealthy part of town, so there's probably a pretty good guard presence. If you guys look around for a little bit, you're able to find some guards probably watching the work at the restoration of the lamps.
Okay. In Orcish, I'm going to go ahead and ask them if any of them were on duty last.
Give me charisma, please. Yeah, no. He kind of looks down to you, and he's taller than you apparently, and says, "No, those who were on duty last night, recovering."
Where are they recovering at?
My brain just they're recovering in I will know the name of the god in a second. As soon as they are recovering in Temple of Yakit.
Thank you very much.
He kind of waves at you and goes back to watching the work going on.
Gentlemen, sounds like we need to go to the Temple of Yakit, and maybe some of the guards there who were on duty last night, where they're recovering, we can get information.
All right, Temple of Yakit is right along the cliff face. It has a beautiful overlook toward the city below. It is a fair amount larger than the temple of your temple. Just forgot. Raya. Thank you. Fair amount larger than the temple of Raya. As you guys walk in that direction, this is her time of year, even if it's not her month. So there are a lot of people like visiting the temple, making donations in thanks for a good harvest. There's just kind of a lot of people milling around, and there's all of the or not all of the priests, but a lot of the priests are talking with people who are visiting. Everybody here is Orcish, with the exception of maybe a random human or two. All of the priests are Orcish for sure. A lot of female priests, priestesses, whatever, here in the Temple of Yakit.
I will approach one of the priestesses and in Orcish ask if there's anything I could help with as a cleric as well, and that I would love to help with the injured guards and to talk with them to help figure out what was.
She kind of gives you a blank look. Injured guards, I don't know what you're talking about. And give me an insight roll, please. Yeah, that's plenty good enough. She probably does know what you're talking about, but she's been told to not let anybody know about the fact that she knows that.
Oh, perhaps I was mistaken. Please carry on.
She bows slightly and goes back to her duties.
I walk away from her out of earshot and turn to my cohort here and guys, she's lying. The guards have to be here. We were told they were here, but she's claiming that there's no.
And no one was injured?
Claiming innocence, that nothing's happened. Might be Horgol time.
Maybe.
All right.
I'll walk up to the guard. Not the same one,
Oh, different
but
priest.
different priest, and yeah, ask if I could speak to one of the. Let me see first what it does. Yeah. I'm gonna cast. What level? I don't have the second level.
Charm person. Wisdom 13 will save.
On a priest, not gonna happen, but we'll see. And I will ask if I could see and question. No, not question. Help the injured guard.
Give
with
me
my friend.
a charisma check, please, or charisma save, whatever that is.
There is a skill called Persuasion.
Persuasion would be the one that I'm interested in.
Persuasion.
So they don't notice you casting the spell on them because the spell completely, like, doesn't even touch them to the point where you're not even sure you cast it. And they kind of look at you and say, "Well, I mean, you're gonna have to talk to the head priest. I can't just let you talk to them. It's not, privacy and all of that sort of thing. But you're gonna have to talk to the head priest for that. Tell you what. Come back this evening after services around, say 6, and we'll see what we can do, huh?"
It might be a little bit more urgent than that. Maybe, and I held up a little bit coin. The nation can speed something up.
Oh, perhaps. And he produces a locked donation box. How much do you put in?
What was the equivalent for gold again?
That's brass.
10 brass.
He nods at you appreciatively and says, "Sure, come this way, please." And he puts the donation box away.
And I'll wave to the group, like, we're in.
He takes you back to a back room, and points out an office, or opens the door to an office space. Inside is a, say, 50s lady. She's going silver through, kind of salted through her entire hair. She looks like a grandma. Just kind of a shorter lady, kind of well-rounded figure, but just every sense you get of her personality and everything is just that of a grandma who if you're a good grandkid, she's gonna bake you cookies later.
I like cookies. I'll introduce myself. I'm Horgot Wolfswift. These are my friends, and we are looking after the incident that happened here. We're on an investigation, just being honest with her about what happened and stuff like that, and trying to not persuade. Yeah, maybe it is to make sure. Maybe it's not even persuade. Maybe it's deception. I'm not sure. To make sure that we are the good guys and we're trying to help the city unravel this mystery.
Is everything you were telling her honest? And are you telling her everything?
I'm I'm not telling that I was there when it happened, but
Right.
we're willing to help the city to resolve this. I'm not telling about the iron bar or the silver bar and stuff like that. Or iron it was.
Iron, yep. She listens to you. She kind of looks around the group, taking in the fact that there is a local kobold of some repute, and a priest of Raya, and a couple of dirty humans. But she kind of, after a while, you think you're swaying her, and she kind of gives you that glowing grandma smile and says, that kind of glowing grandma smile says, well, I don't know what you can help with, but please follow me. And she leads you further in. There is kind of in the back part of the temple, it's a very airy open space, and there's like cloth curtain dividers and a series of it's a clinic or a hospital, as you know. There are a couple of priests helping out injured people. A couple of beds are occupied with curtains pulled around them, and she leads you over to one of the curtains and opens it up, and says, I to the person here, I need a different naming set. Hold on a second. I need a name. That's good. Good enough. Mark, you have visitors. And you see a probably mid-30s orc. He is in casts, arms and legs. He's sitting up, and there is a pretty young, or handsome young, I suppose, priest of Yakit, who is currently like feeding him some lunch. Guy, he kind of has that arm, those arm brace casts that look like he probably has broken shoulders, and he also has a cast basically from his waist down.
How old is she?
The guy Mark is probably mid-30s. He's got a couple of scars on his face. Looks like he's been in his share of brawls. He would be shirtless. And you see like faint, Hollock, you would recognize this faint marks from like training swords that somebody got a little too over anxious and managed to actually injure somebody with their training sword, and then various small cuts and nicks on his body that are well healed and faded into the green of his skin. Hollick, you are certain that this guy is a veteran guard.
What kind of... No, let's start off a different way. I have it all in my head, but I don't know how to word it. How did a mighty warrior like you got in a place like this?
He snorts, and kind of waves with his hand, which is free from the end of his cast at the priest. And did you say it in common or in Orcish?
I can't speak Orcish.
So in common, he
Sorry, can I cast Enhance Ability to put Charisma advantage on Horgold?
Yes, absolutely. He looks at you and kind of looks like he's searching his words and says, "Don't speak the common human tongue well, but I was investigating lights going out and found myself thrown bodily into a wall.
Who did speak Orcish again?
I tried to speak.
I look at my group like, just show some respect and talk to the guy in Orcish so he can explain properly what happened and what he's seen.
He repeats in Orcish. It's much less broken. He speaks common, but it's not his common tongue. And he looks at you guys and says, "Yeah, I was around 8 p. Well, no, it was later than that. It was after dark last night. I was doing my rounds, and I saw a flash. Well, sort of a flash, kind of an anti-flash actually, from the elevator pit, and so I went to investigate." And I saw a figure moving past the elevator. Looked like it landed on the street, just past the elevator, and then the lights started going off down the street. I yelled at them to hold, and as I approached them to stop them, they grabbed me by, or they. He kind of wants to make motions with his hands, but he can't. He says they shoved me, and I went flying at least 2 blocks up the street and impacted the wall behind me, and I do not remember anything that happened until I woke this morning here.
I'll translate all that for 4 gold.
So them, the multiple.
Getting the translate back, he says, no, it was an individual. Them, because I did not get a good look at them. They were cloaked in shadow, wrapped with many dark cloths, covering them from head to foot. Mostly, I think, cloaked in shadow because there was no light. Although he does have dark vision. But anyway.
Out of character, I have no clue where to go now.
Me neither, but I have an idea that maybe it's trying to figure out the dock area might be a good place to go.
Yeah, we could try.
I go through the languages I know to see if I can find a language he knows better than Common, Draconic, Elvish, and Giant.
He looks at you in confusion as you go through all of them. You think he understood a couple of words of Elvish, probably about the same of Draconic, and nothing in Giant. He looks like he is able to, ask for a beer in Draconic, sort of familiarity with that language, or move along, short one, sort of thing.
Sort of like me with the Orcish.
Yeah.
I have just in common. Thank you for your information. Hope you get better soon.
In Orcish, he responds, they tell me that tomorrow they should be able to cast the spells necessary to get me back on my feet.
I will put 1 brass in his hand that's, in the cast, so he cannot reach. Well, he has it in his hands, but I cannot do anything with it.
Right. He kind of chuckles at you, and then he flips it to the priest who was helping him out.
Thank you, kind sir, and I hope you heal well.
As you guys exit the little station, I
find a collection box and drop 14 brass into.
All right. The priestess, the head priest, kind of looks at you guys and says, "Did you find what you needed?"
Unfortunately, no, not really.
All right. Well, let me know if you find out anything or need any more help. The temple of Yakit is always open to you. Blessings upon you, my children.
Same to you. And if you find any information that might help us defend this city from this evil, make sure you contact us.
And how might I contact you?
Ask for leave a message for Gruntos, the snorting boy.
She nods. I am familiar with the place. She doesn't look like she sounds absolutely sincere, but she doesn't look like the sort of person who should be familiar with the snorting boar.
Yeah. And on the way out, I'll just say to the guys, if you, I'll let the guy know that you guys get messages from the temples in mind.
All right. It's early afternoon. You guys haven't eaten, or unless you let me know you had. You guys haven't eaten lunch yet, so those of you who are used to lunch at the very least are feeling a bit hungry. It is bright and clear day now. Maybe threatening rain in the near future, but probably not in the next day or two.
Anywhere good to eat up on the fancy part of town here, Horgle?
I have some stuff at home if you want to see where I live, and I'll make some dinner or lunch.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, you guys head towards Horgold's place. Is it, out of curiosity, Horgold, is it like an elaborate thing to get into your house, or is it just walk up to the front door and unlock it?
It has like you need a key, but you also need to press like a side thingy before you enter. Otherwise, it just doesn't. Unless you're a thief or something like that.
Grunthos, you're probably the only one who recognizes this as anything out of the ordinary. As Horgold unlocks a door, and you catch yourself like investigating how it is done, like the mechanics of it, as everybody else heads inside the house. It looks like a clever trick to you.
It's what we do. Trap our homes.
Yup, that's literally how it works. Give me an intelligence roll.
Me?
A Grunthos. $14's good enough. You have thought of at least 2 ways you can improve this for Horgold. Whether or not you share that is up to you, but you close the door behind you as everybody else has gone inside.
Yeah. And Grunto's standing in the door opening, just looking around. Oh, we're inside.
Yeah, and I'll just point to the table, put some extra chairs around, and head myself to the kitchen to, not getting anything fancy, but just the basic stuff out of the pantry, and
you've got ham probably in the fridge, and bread, and various lunchtime sort of things. Give me a notice roll, please, Horgold.
Notice?
Yes.
And that's based on
Wisdom? I think
insight.
Are you referring to perception or insight?
Perception. Sorry. Too many different
It's
ways
alright.
to do the same thing. Yes, perception. You are noticing something, not you are investigating something. You absolutely do not notice the thing. All right. You guys eat lunch. It is pleasant, if not fancy. And by the time you're done, it's probably 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that.
As we're exiting, I'm trying to pay closer attention.
Give me investigate. Yeah, no, you see exactly how this works, and you're certain that with like 10 minutes, you can make this work, this do what it's intended to do with even smoother and even less likely to be bypassed by somebody who isn't familiar with how the mechanism works.
Oh, okay. How's the line at the elevator?
By now the line has basically thinned out. Probably a 10 or 15 minute wait. You would have seen this on the way up, but on the edge of the cliff, there is a guy who is saying, he's got a wand in his hand, and as some people approach him, give him a little bit of money, and he touches them with the wand, and they jump off the cliff. It's the fast way down. Featherfall, yep. But the elevator's working. It's probably 10 minute ride down, because it's the slow waterway.
Elevator or jump? Question for the group.
Elevator.
Gruntha, instead of paying, I'll just toss you off the cliff.
You try, I'll drag you with me.
How?
All right, you guys get to the elevator. You pay your passage, which is like 5 copper each. And you get on and you wait. And the guy's like, "I need 3 more before we can go down. There's extra weight at the bottom." And probably a 5-ish minute wait. A couple more people get on. There's finally enough weight, and the elevator starts trundling its way down the cliff face. There is
on the way down. I poke Horgold.
What?
The thing in at your house. I can make that better.
No, you can't.
Okay, your loss.
He seems very confident, Horgold.
So am I.
All right. Eventually, you guys get to the bottom of the cliff. The elevator that you are on is actually the one that was closer to the water. You think you understand why they replaced this system, because it's slow and it's clunky and you're getting damp. The other elevator, the magical elevator, looks like they're preparing to do test runs of like there's a couple of gracks of sacks of grain placed on one of the elevator cars, and there's a couple people talking into things to talk up and down the cliff face. All right, where are you guys headed?
The docks, yeah.
All right. you guys head for the docks. It's a fair walk down that way. I mean, it's, all the way over here for the main docks. There's a set of like dry docks over here that those who don't work on the ships don't tend to go to. You guys head down towards the docks. It's not quite supper time by the time you get there. There's a couple of ships in the harbor. Looks like one of them is unloading goods onto the shore or onto the actual dock itself. This is a deep water dock, so Grunthos, you're familiar with this dock very much. Everybody else, you've been in the town long enough, you've probably been here before, but from your familiarity with Kersh, this dock is actually deeper than the deepest dock that exists in Kersh. So the largest ocean-going sail ships are able to pull right up to the dock and unload directly onto the shore. So this is one of the better transfer points for goods coming to the northern continent from pretty much anywhere. Because the ships can pull in here, unload rapidly, load rapidly, and be on their way. They don't have to try to, boat in or anything they don't have to boat in goods on boats to the shore to get the ship light enough to actually pull into the dock, or do anything have two smaller ships have a full load instead of one larger ship. If anybody, probably Grunthos would know that this is the deepest dock that anybody has ever heard of. The ocean here is pretty much another sheer cliff face, almost directly offshore, another couple 100 feet down. This kind of C-shaped piece of land that you guys are on is one of the few shelves of land that isn't just cliff face into rock scree into ocean along this whole coastline.
It's almost like we're standing on the Atlantic shelf.
Pretty much, yep.
Just that the shelf itself is above land, and just beyond it, it's almost straight down.
Almost straight down. Okay. There's not a lot of divers. A lot of times in coastal city areas, you have oyster divers and stuff. There's not a lot of those type of people here because there's not enough space for those types of things. But deep water fishing here is the way people make. This is the way people gather food. One of the better profitable ways to gather food, because you can go out a mile or two from shore and get into deep enough water that you can collect tuna and sharks and very deep water fish.
Yeah, we're looking for guards that were on duty last night. I am, at least.
All right. You kind of ask around for a little bit, and it's getting late enough now that the guards are here. Should be people getting on duty soon. Might be showing up at the guard stations to get ready for their shift. This is all in Orcish.
I get every fifth word or something. Guard station.
Right.
I can translate for you, Grunthos.
I get guard station. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm trying to find them before they get on active duty. I think.
Head for the guard station then.
Yeah.
All right. You guys head to the local guard station. Grunthos, you know where this is because you're familiar with the town. Satet, you know where this is because the Temple of Raya isn't a super long way from here, and you're just kind of familiar with this part of town. Actually, Hollick and Horgol, just by your personalities, you probably know where this is as well. You head there, and you see one guard like standing outside, smoking some sort of stinky plant, and just kind of staring off into space. And the guard station looks active, like it's nearing a duty change or a shift change sort of thing.
Who was on duty last night?
the
I no introduction, just up to the guard and ask.
he kind of looks out and then realizes the sound came from down and looks down at you, says why in Orcish, why do you want to know?
Because we think they might have seen something come in this way.
He kind of has a look. Seen something, not sure. He kind of responds. If you're continuing to speak to him in common, he kind of responds in broken common. Not sure. I was on duty last night. A couple of my blokes inside were as well. What are you looking for?
I relayed the time, which was about 9 or 10-ish. I think you said
something like that. Yep.
And the area and what I gather that people have said they've seen.
He says nothing from the docks. There was a report of something strange crossing the river.
Can you tell us where?
He kind of indicates that it was the main crossing the river at the main crossing.
From the dry docks area,
yeah,
along the road.
So, from what you guys know, the murder happened, let's say, right here. How do I put down a marker?
Click the paintbrush, freehand, and you can.
Okay, so murder happened right there, and then we had lights go out, basically along about there, and then start again and go all the way along there.
There was nothing closer to the dock at all.
Nothing closer to the dock at all that anybody has reported.
Is there some sort of guards post along the road to the dry dock?
Yes, there is. You would be familiar with one. There's I go back to just the marker. There's probably one just across the river. Well, probably on this side of the river, because there's not much on the other side of the river. So there's a guard post somewhere in that area.
Well, it would make sense we would go talk to them since there were sightings of something crossing.
Yeah.
Right. By the time you get there, it's.
I thank the guard for his information, and
he snorts a cloud of smoke at you, and looks like he's going to put his armor on to start his shift.
Yep.
I look at Gruntas. Like, no?
Well,
if people give you information, what do you do?
I said thank you.
He was speaking in common. The guard was speaking in common at the end. because Grunthos is speaking in common.
What do you do if people give you information?
Well, I said thank you.
I'll give him a brass.
He catches the brass and smiles at you. You kind of get that expression of you get it.
And we move along.
Yep. About the time you guys get to the guard station, you realize it's not that far past the Snorting Boar, which is, here-ish. You guys get to the guard station. The probably you're figuring at this point the people who have more of a daytime shift are coming in and doing whatever they do at the end of their day, and the night shift guards have started going out on their nightly patrols.
Anyone speaking Orcish want to try?
No, but I will translate for you.
Okay. I saunter up to the station. Gunk, gunk, gunk.
Somebody in like a sergeant type uniform looks a little more well maintained than Roy. Looks down at you and an orc says, "What?
Hi.
No, you short."
You're high.
Ah, yes.
We've been told some of the guards on this station might have seen something last night, and I give the explanation of what, where, why.
Yes.
And I add on Orcish and point to Satet.
Guy looks at Satet and says in Orcish, "Yes."
He says yes.
Correct. He says yes in Orcish.
No, I'm just telling Grunthos.
Oh.
Yes.
Got it.
Where did it come from?
He points across the bridge. Says, nobody stop, cause not a problem until it become weird later. Match description other guards have. He's listening to you in common, but he's responding completely in Orcish.
Yeah. Is he trying to say that the thing I'm asking for looked like what I'm asking for, or did it look like something else when he passed through?
He's saying the thing that passed through matches the description from elsewhere in town.
Did anyone go across the bridge to investigate after it passed?
It did not pass back.
What about how much time is left of the day, approximately?
The sun isn't set, but it's definitely evening. Probably supper time. Call it 6 p.m. at this point.
I'm debating if we have time to find Borghild or not. How far was how long does it take to walk to the cave where Borghild lives?
It's a good hour from here, probably, because it's kind of
The sound totally cut out. Did it for anyone else?
I still have sound.
I can hear.
Do the wiggle dance, just in case.
I'm gonna wiggle it.
Danka. So there's a path kind of. I'll just draw on here. Free line, color of brown. Haha! Kind of along here. That's actually a really good match. That goes up to the cave system up here. There is an old creepy. Words are hard. Graveyard. Polygon. That color. Old creepy graveyard right around. I have no idea. Oh, that's right around here. That it goes past. And yeah, it's probably about an hour walk from where you are.
So an hour to get here.
Yeah, probably. It's
Half
not
hour to get there.
Probably a little less than that because the path that goes up is like it's not well made. It's like rocky, and there was a rock fall covering much of this area here. So you gotta go over rocks and around them and through.
Okay. I want to go check out the graveyard. Just because.
Can totally do that.
I'll say to everybody else that you can do whatever you want, but I'm going to check out the graveyard, and maybe tomorrow, if things are better, I'm going to want to go talk to Borghout.
Well, I don't think we need to talk to Borhild. I think that endeavor is closed.
Even so, I'm going to check the graveyard.
That's okay.
Okay, Grunthos is going to the graveyard. Anybody else going with him? Or is everybody going with him?
Yeah, I'm going with him.
Okay, everybody's going with him. So you guys walk down the road. There is kind of a smattering of people walking back from the dry dock area. All along here, it's late enough in the evening. They're probably headed back to their homes for supper, or possibly to the bars to drink. You guys get to the graveyard about a half hour. It's not quite dark yet. Those of you with dark vision can see just fine. Those of you without, it's that kind of that twilight that is kind of that where the shadows get long, and like a moving tree or a bush can like, I'm not describing very well, kind of give that false sense of motion that the human brain is really good at. Like, oh, there's a tiger there. No, it's just the bush moving sort of thing. As you get to the graveyard, you see there is a broken down building in the center of the area. There are just kind of graves spread out all over the place, a couple of mausoleums on the ground, and probably 10 or 20% of the graves have look everything in the world like they were dug up by hand a long time ago. Very long time ago. Like the dirt has kind of fallen in, but you can still see evidence of where like graves were exhumed, and like old rotted wood is piled on the side of it and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Knowledge history. 12, 10.
See, Grunthos, an old graveyard.
Mm-hmm. With a 10, probably good enough to have heard the stories. So maybe 80 to 100 years ago, there was a white problem in this graveyard, and so people out of superstition have stopped using it, which means that there is another grave graveyard location that is new or that's over in the other part of town, other direction of town?
Mm-hmm. Point number one, Gruntos wanted to do was examine for any recent movement of Earth. And second point of action would be to check out the dilapidated building in the center.
Doing a quick search. You have dark vision, right?
Low light.
Low light, yeah, good enough. Doing a quick search, there's very little movement in here. It's the sort of thing, like, as you're, like, going in and walking around this place, it's cobwebs, and piled dirt, and you think probably the last people who were here were kids on a dare, perhaps. Give me investigate, all of you who are here.
Probably not.
Hollock, I'll give you it at partial. The building itself looks more recently used than the graveyard around it. Somebody has been here who have tried to cover their tracks. But it is currently unoccupied.
Anything else interesting?
Not really. All right, Horgold, yeah, that would be a failure on that. Grunthos, you get a whisper inside your head, and it sounds like Horgold, and it says "boo" or something similar.
Not the response in the spell, just
just a heavy sigh.
Out loud. I'm going into the building to search it.
Okay.
Now,
how thorough a search are you gonna make of this place? Like, you gonna spend some time here, or are you just gonna give it a quick look over?
Hollock, did you relay that the building looked recently used? Did you tell us about?
No.
Just want to know what I've got to play with. Then it would be a glance around because it's getting late and even my low light with vision wouldn't help that much.
So yeah, give me a perception. And what you see really is like old disturbed dust, and you find find under an old like table, like, I'm saying like so much. One of the local schools, like a badge from one of the local schools, and just kind of disturbed dust a little bit. Getting the impression that this is the haunted graveyard where kids go to spook each other out, chase each other through the night.
Okay. Back up to, is the road cobbled here or is it dirt?
Road here is dirt, but it's well packed. Like, it is well packed dirt. So it would take a pretty good rainstorm to really get this muddy. It's crowned in the middle so that water runs off the edges and has like ditches and stuff leading towards the river on the side.
Just for the heck of it, I'm gonna try and look for tracks matching the ones I found on the outside of the.
Give me a very good investigate roll. Or no, not investigate, your survival.
17.
I'll give you a partial. You find a single footprint on the road pointed towards town. Looks like it's not quite sunk in as far as the one you saw outside of town to the north.
Yeah, but outside the town was loose dirt.
Yes, this is packed.
This is probably centuries of hard packed dirt.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, that puts the nose pointing at the Snorting Boar Tavern. Unless other people want to do something.
Definitely seems fine for me. There's
Right.
nothing in this graveyard.
You guys head back to the Snorting Boar. It's well into the evening crowd at this point. As you're arriving, you see a familiar figure leave the tavern and then head off toward the more middle of town, kind of. If the Snorting Boar is here heading this direction, it looks like Borghild. And she is chatting with a couple of orcs, having kind of a pleasant conversation. But as you're getting there, they're getting far enough away, it's hard to see what they're talking about.
Yeah, not interested. I go in and talk to the bark.
Same.
Gruntos, why so late?
Doing work. Now pour me a beer.
He pours you the small glass. He just gives you a great big belly laugh and, does the normal, pour it into a big glass.
Yeah, I'm chuckling with him. Every time he sees the small guys, no, please God, no, in his head.
He yells at one of his regular barmaids, Lydia, prepare a normal table for them. And you guys apparently have been here often enough, more recently enough, that you guys have a table cleared for you by the time you sit down.
I'm going to pay for the bronze for the drinks, the room, and probably do I owe him more for the room and drinks and food and stuff?
Probably not.
Yeah. There may come there may someone show up with a message for me. Just want to let you know that if the messenger is from the Temple of Yakit, it's okay if my friends get it instead of me. Anything else? Just me. But from the Temple of Yakit, they can get as well. And I just pick up the tankard as big as my head and just mosey on off the table.
Right. You guys doing anything else other than eating supper and hanging out at the inn tonight?
Probably not.
All right.
Nope.
The evening wears on. You guys eventually decide to go your separate ways for the evening. Grunthos, you know, going to his bed at the Snorting Boar, Hollock to his home, Horgold to his, and Satet to the temple. Satet, you are basically you get ready for bed, and you prepare yourself however you prepare yourself normally, and you lay yourself down in bed, and you find yourself in a dream. You find yourself like that dream where you're running and unable to catch. You're not sure if you're chasing something or being chased by something, but you're running and you're sweating and chasing or being chased, and you come stark awake. The only voice that makes sense in your head, you have heard her perhaps once or twice in the past. Your god is speaking to you. Run, my child, protect it. And we'll end there. So, thank you everybody for watching. I'm sorry about the issues with the start of the stream. I'll see if I can cut together some sort of intro for YouTube. Thank you to all of my players for playing. I hope this isn't too confusing, and we will get everything cleared up soon, perhaps. Thank you all for watching. It's been great having you here. I will be uploading this as soon as I remember onto YouTube, and I hope you are here again next week. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye.